I believe I met the brief when making my 60-second documentary because from past research I did find out that lens, stock and plug-in based assets were all used. The lens-based asset I used was the iPhone to film the documentary. I used a stock-based by using Premiere Pro to edit, and used plug-in based assets because of the transitions and effects I used when editing in the suite. I also interviewed and used cutaway shots which all 60-second documentaries had on YouTube. From receiving several pieces of feedback, they all spoke about one thing in common, which was the noise in the documentary. To be more specific, they were talking about the soundtrack I used in the background and how it was too romantic for the type of documentary that I created. I thought, on the other hand, how it was good because it had no change in tone or volume whilst the whole documentary was going on. I did change it, however, to on a similar track that was more upbeat and more positive and less romantic. I made sure also that it didn't change the speed or volume so that it wasn't overpowering what we were learning about in the documentary. Another noise problem I had was the start-up sound of the motorbike. People who were watching it for the first time thought it was too loud, but because I was there filming it, I didn't really notice. I also edited it a few times to make sure it kept the same balance to the rest of the audio in the documentary and wasn't making people jump when they watched it for the first time. The moving image I created did have a meaning. It showed the ins and outs and everyday life for Paul at Bide. It shows him talking about his work and showing clips of what he does every day, such as machine polishing, detailing and fixing them, and he did mention that his most favourite part was driving them as well. I made sure I captured all this so we got a real insight into what he did every day. I wanted to give the impression in the documentary that if you work hard you can achieve your dream job in which you'll never have to work a day in your life, theoretically. I wanted to have people watching to keep pushing and keep wanting to achieve their dream so they never have to worry about anything in the future. I had a variation of shots in my documentary because it makes the viewers more engaged and also feel like the 60 seconds have gone quickly. I made sure I didn't have a very long 60-second boring clip that the viewers would lose focus on and not gain any education from either. I wanted to use a positive soundtrack so that it fit and complemented the documentary. I did adjust it, however, after having some feedback and changed it, and I believe the one I've got now fits the documentary better than the original one I had. With regards to colour and lighting, I used completely natural lighting and natural colours so that I didn't have to use any colour adjustments in post. The reason I did this is because the documentary is meant to be factual. It's not meant to be manipulated or false. It is meant to be completely truthful and tell a fact and give information about a certain topic. Luckily for me, however, I did get to work with cars, and cars are various different colours. In the unit, however, there was many different coloured cars, and I made sure that they were all being included. In various shots and cutaways, I had various cars being worked on. I had a blue car being driven out, and I also have a grey car that is being machine polished on. I wanted to keep a variation because, luckily for me, in the unit, the walls and ceiling are white. Therefore, the vibrance from the colours on the cars stood out more when I was editing and when you're watching the documentary. To conclude, I'm really proud of this documentary as it is really personal to me and what the company represents. For next time though, I would really like to do something that I don't have much knowledge on so I can gain an interest and also learn whilst creating this content.